This is the mother of 43-year-old Kristil Krug. In just moments, she is going to walk into this very garage and discover her daughter's lifeless body.
Hello?
I need to stay out, please.
And this is Daniel Krug, the man who killed her. Minutes after leaving his wife's body hidden in their own garage.
Oh shit. Holy fuck.
He heads into work as if it's just another normal day. For the past 4 months, Daniel has been orchestrating what he believes to be the most calculated homicide plot Colorado has ever seen. He creates fake identities, manipulates Kristil's children, and carefully constructs the perfect scapegoat to take the fall. In his mind, the plan is airtight. Police will chase a ghost for weeks, eventually arresting the wrong man for a murder he committed.
My husband said there was a dude who's been stalking her and threatened to kidnap her.
Oh my god, this can't be true.
I was supposed to protect.
Kristil, Officer Henry.
Yeah, nice to
Very
meet
good to
you.
meet you. Talk to the detective. I kind of have an idea what's going on.
Yes.
And despite sharp detective work, his plan unfolds exactly as he intended. Months before her murder, Kristil Krug lives here with her husband Daniel and their 3 children. Both are well educated and appear to have built a comfortable life together. But behind closed doors, something dark is unfolding, something that will ultimately destroy this family. Kristil has been dealing with a stalker obsessed with her, sending constant threats and claiming to watch her every move. An officer arrives to inspect her car for GPS trackers or anything that might explain how this person keeps finding her. In reality, the stalker is far closer than anyone could have imagined.
You can see like it's a little bit dirty, so I don't see blood marks, but like my street looks like this all the time. There's no one out there. Like I know the normal cars.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he's following from.
Okay.
I can only assume a tracker.
Nothing jumps out at me.
I know, me either. I'm hoping it's just meant to mess with me.
The officer searches the vehicle thoroughly from top to bottom but finds nothing suspicious. Before leaving, he offers safety recommendations and reassures Kristil that police will continue looking into her case. Not long after, Broomfield police receive another call, this time from Daniel, reporting a break-in at their home. An officer responds, unaware that this interaction marks the beginning of one of the most calculated murders the United States has ever seen.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, definitely. I'm Austin Chauncey.
I'm Dan.
Nice to meet you.
Johnson, nice to meet you.
So as I pulled in, I saw someone run out, jump over my gate, and take off that way.
Got it.
I didn't think to call you until my wife got home recently and we realized the spare key that we keep in the garage isn't there.
Okay.
According to Daniel, he saw someone run from the property, jump over the gate, and flee. The only thing missing is their spare house key kept in the garage. If someone stole that key, it suggests they may return. The officer advises Daniel to change the locks immediately while police investigate the intruder. What no one realizes is that this is not a random incident. It is the opening move in a plan that has been forming for months. The break-in is just step 1. 9 days later, Kristil wakes to another uneasy morning. For weeks, she has been receiving strange anonymous messages and feels as though someone is watching her. Until now, the threats have had no name attached, just a faceless presence inching closer. That changes today. As she prepares the kids for school, makes coffee, and heads out for work, her phone buzzes. The name on the screen is one she hasn't thought about in more than 20 years, Jack Anthony Holland, a man she briefly dated as a teenager. The message is short, crude, and completely unexpected. He says he looked her up, mentions he goes to Boulder every few weeks, and suggests they hook up. At first, Kristil brushes it off. They haven't spoken in years, and back then he seemed harmless. She ignores the message and moves on. But the next day, everything escalates. The texts become aggressive and disturbing. He comments on her appearance, claims to have seen her at the dentist, mentions her expired license plate, and references details that suggest he's watching her. Now Kristil's fear becomes real. She begins living with the terrifying possibility that she is being surveilled. She becomes certain that Anthony is the one who has been harassing her for weeks. Hypervigilant, she installs cameras around the house, dash cams in her car, and begins taking additional steps to protect herself. By late October, Kristil is barely sleeping. She carries a concealed handgun everywhere she goes and keeps a detailed spreadsheet stalker log, documenting every message she receives. Almost a month later, a new email from Anthony confirms her worst fears. The message references her husband and includes an attached photo of Daniel at his workplace. Now the stalker isn't just targeting Kristil. He's coming after her family. Realizing she can't handle this alone, Kristil hires a private investigator to track down Anthony's addresses and digital history. Then, on Halloween night, she calls the police to report the escalating threats.
So, how can I help you tonight? What's going on?
Yeah, so I have an ex from a very long time ago who has occasionally found me on social media, and it's never been an issue until this month. So this month, I have received numerous text messages, and then today I got an email that is very threatening, and it escalated to the point that he took a recent picture of my husband at his work location. So the stalking is getting a little too aggressive at this point in time.
Okay.
So my last contact with this individual was 5 years ago, where I told him I was happily married. I had no interest in what he kept contacting me. He kind of blew things up and then blocked me. I blocked him, haven't heard from him since.
After that, they blocked each other and she hadn't heard from him since. The officer documents every detail and forwards the case to the department's investigative unit. Within hours, the file lands on the desk of Detective Andrew Martinez, a seasoned investigator who has handled some of Broomfield's toughest cases, including abductions and violent crimes. Martinez schedules a formal meeting with Kristil the following week to better understand what is happening and who Anthony really is. By the time she meets with Martinez, the situation has escalated far beyond her initial report.
So, I mean, like, he saw, like, full pictures of my family, of my kids. Like, I locked down my protocol real fast after this, because it was pretty alarming, right? Where he's like, we're meant to be together, and my family loves that we're talking. And I'm like, whoa, you think that we're, like, in a relationship? So I shut it down real hard. I said, this is really creepy for me. You need to stop. And he got, like, real emotional, and then blocked me. I'm like, good. And I blocked him, and and then I shut down Facebook entirely. The one development that I have, I did get the full-blown report from the PI. Problem, and you'll see this in this report, there are tons of phone numbers associated with him. There are tons of addresses. He moves everywhere and between like 3 different states.
As Martinez reviews the evidence, 2 details stand out. First, the stalker is not just texting from random numbers. He is using multiple phone lines and different digital identities, continuing to reach Kristil even after she changes her information. Whoever this is, they are persistent, resourceful, and frighteningly determined. Second, Anthony Holland is connected to several addresses and multiple phone numbers. Whether this suggests instability or an effort to stay off the grid, it convinces Martinez that Kristil may be dealing with someone who either doesn't want to be found or who could be planning something far worse. With that in mind, Martinez concludes the interview and begins the digital investigation. He sends warrants to service providers requesting phone records, email logs, and account information to track down the stalker. Unfortunately, those companies will make a mistake that will soon prove deadly. While waiting for the digital evidence, Martinez decides to revisit another incident, the garage break-in Daniel reported in September, when someone allegedly stole their spare house key. He brings Daniel in for a formal interview, wanting to know if he has noticed anyone following him. But instead of clarifying the situation, Martinez is about to uncover something far more unsettling about the Krug household. Detective Martinez is about to uncover something troubling about the couple's marriage.
And I guess at what point did she tell you that he recontacted her this last time?
It was either November 1st or November 2nd. It was after she had gotten a picture of me at work that she brought me up to speed on that.
Gotcha, okay. And the first contact that he initially made with her was back on October 2nd. I guess why that month gap, do you think, before she told you?
I'm sure she has mentioned to you that she and I are going through a rough patch, kind of on the rocks. So probably didn't seem that pressing until it was.
Sure. And she didn't mention that to me, that you guys were having a rough time currently. Are you guys in the process of separating, getting divorced, or working through things?
To be determined. My brother Matthew is a cop, so I have a retractable asp steel baton.
Yeah.
As I said, not right now, but otherwise, it's on me all the time. I sleep with it next to me. I've bought some additional security cameras for the house. So what am I doing? I'm panicking. And I'm doing a shit job to protect my wife. So I'm not doing good.
Yeah, I can see that. So, with that being, I know that Kristil, we put her car on a lift on Tuesday afternoon to see if there's any sort of GPS tracking or anything like that.
She told me.
We couldn't find anything on the car. If Anthony is watching you guys, it's going to be in person from a distance or nearby or however. So that poses an interesting issue in of itself.
From Daniel's reactions, it is clear the stalking is affecting him as well. His wife is terrified, his family feels unsettled, and he is struggling to understand how this is happening. After the interview, something Daniel said lingers in Martinez's mind. He did not know about the stalking for nearly a month, not until Kristil showed him the email with the workplace photo. Martinez digs deeper into the family dynamic and learns the couple has indeed been experiencing marital strain. It is not hostile or dangerous, but they are trying to work through it for the sake of their children and keep the family together. Given how much the stalker seems to know about their lives, Martinez briefly considers whether someone inside the home could be manipulating the situation. For a moment, he even entertains the possibility that Daniel might somehow be behind it as a twisted attempt to repair their marriage. But there is no evidence supporting that theory, and it is quickly dismissed. All signs continue pointing to Anthony. Kristil herself is completely convinced her ex is responsible. Throughout November, the harassment escalates with more messages and threats. Kristil continues documenting everything and constantly monitors her security cameras. By early December, she receives a message that offers the smallest sense of relief. The sender claims he can no longer visit Colorado because his girlfriend does not want them talking without her and suggests she might involve police after getting rid of her husband. For the first time in weeks, Kristil and her family feel a brief moment of calm. It sounds as if Anthony is backing off, perhaps even leaving the state. In reality, this message is the final move designed to make them lower their guard. The day of the murder begins like any other. Daniel leaves for work while Kristil drops the children off at school. During that window of time, someone approaches the front door, tapes over the Ring doorbell camera, and enters the house. Minutes later, Kristil returns home, pulls into the garage, and steps out of her car. She has no idea someone is waiting inside. The moment she closes the car door, he attacks. The stalker strikes her in the head, stabs her, and leaves her bleeding on the garage floor. After months of calculated planning, this is the moment he has been preparing for. Later that morning, Daniel attempts to call Kristil from his office, but she does not answer or respond to his texts. Hours pass with no sign of her. Finally, Daniel decides to contact police.
Broomfield dispatcher's meeting.
Hi there. My name is Dan Krug.
I don't think this is an emergency, but this feels really weird.
Okay.
My wife isn't responding to text messages or phone calls.
Okay.
We've had threats against us. We have both been targeted by a stalker.
Okay.
Threats have been made against my life.
Okay.
And threatening to like kidnap her, which is why I'm nervous that she's not answering.
Within minutes of the call, an officer is dispatched to the Krug residence to check on Kristil. At the same time, Daniel contacts Kristil's mother and asks her to go to the house to check on her daughter, unknowingly sending her into the worst moment of her life. The officer arrives first.
Hello.
Oh, I was just their neighbor, and they called me. Like, can you go see if she'll answer the
Oh yeah, he sent us as well. So
Yeah, I'm like, I was
just next door. Okay.
All right, well, you got this.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate it.
From the outside, everything appears quiet. Nothing seems out of place. But before clearing the call and driving away, something nags at him. He pulls his patrol car closer and moves toward the garage. As he leans in for a better look, he sees a body lying motionless on the floor, blood smeared across the wall.
$151 sent medical and 110. I need a 4 sentry. I got a female down in the garage. Broomfield Police! Broomfield Police! Oh shit. Holy shit.
Inside the garage is Kristil. The officer steps in and finds her with what appears to be a severe head injury. He immediately begins performing CPR, working on her for several moments before opening the garage door to give medics access.
Garage is open now.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. I need you to stay out, please.
Okay.
As the garage door lifts, Kristil's mother arrives and catches a brief glimpse inside, just enough to see an officer performing CPR on her daughter. Another officer quickly shields her from the scene and guides her away so
I need you to
medics
come
can
over here
continue
for a
working.
minute, okay? So we can work. I understand. I need you to come on over here, okay?
Okay.
I know. Do me a favor, go and sit inside so we can work on her, okay? So we can try to get her the help, okay? What's your name?
Linda.
Linda?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Officer Zamora, okay? I'll come out here and I'll give you some news as soon as I can.
Please tell me she's okay.
I have no idea just yet, but I know that they're working on her. The officer in there has been working CPR on her, and I think she's doing okay,
My
okay?
husband called.
She did. He's the one that called us and let us know, okay? Go ahead, take a seat for a minute. I'll be right back here, okay?
I need to tag out, man. She's got a head wound. I don't know if it's from falling or something else, but probably falling, but I don't know, man. It's a good one. Husband said there was a stalker threatening to kidnap her, so I don't know.
She's not.
No, she's unresponsive. Decent head wound.
Where we have more room at the
Inside the garage, responders continue efforts to revive Kristil. At first, it appears she may have suffered a fall resulting in a head wound. But as they assess her further, they notice something else, a visible stab wound to her chest, just above her heart. Daniel had told dispatch he hadn't been able to reach her for several hours.
Guys, you see anything
Now it
other
is
than
clear
a
this was
fall
not an
type of wound?
accidental fall.
What's up? Gash on the chest.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, yeah, that's a stab wound there. That's right.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
The dispatch could tell us. The husband called in to check on her. I don't know right now, but dispatch should have it.
So we have a visible stab wound, you guys?
Yes.
Right above her heart. And then we are asystolic. Yep. Asystolic. Yep. Jermaine, are you good with this, or are you? How recent is this from? Because if this
Husband said he couldn't reach her for
transport, we don't know if it's within 10 minutes, man. Okay, then, yeah.
Husband has not been able to reach her by any means for a few hours. Stab wound to the chest. Let Henry know that.
Medics work for only a few minutes longer before realizing there is nothing more they can do. Beside Kristil's body, the reality of what happened begins to settle in. Tucked inside her purse, the officer notices a handgun she never even had time to reach for. With the immediate area secure, officers spread out throughout the house, searching every room for the attacker, but no one is inside. And as officers step outside the home, they start noticing small details that don't line up with an impulsive crime.
A dude who's been stalking her and threatened to kidnap her. And Martinez was involved, and Martinez just said, hey, this is a big old... I don't know, dude. I don't know the history on that part. Martinez does, though, and he said he's coming in. So, other than that, we're just kind of securing the scene and waiting for detectives, you know? See what they need. I kicked that, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. That is very interesting. Almost like dude might have stuck around from this way and...
I wonder if maybe the door was unlocked, that's how he got in. And then
you know what, dude?
Deadbolted when
You know what? I don't know. I kicked it and it went pretty easy. So I'm going to say no deadbolt.
It wasn't deadbolted, it was just handle was locked.
I saw her, came around, booted it.
Officers quickly confirmed the door was unlocked and a strip of blue tape had been placed over the Ring doorbell camera. Whoever did this clearly planned it and came prepared. As police continue searching the scene, more family members begin arriving one by one. Each of them unknowingly walking into the worst moment of their lives while officers
I don't know
prepare
anything
to
just
deliver
yet,
the
ma'am. I
news
don't know
her
anything
family
just yet.
ever wants
Are
to
you-
hear.
It's your mom.
She's I'm the mom.
Family friend.
Family friend?
Family friend from
I
down the
live right in
street.
the blue house there.
We asked her to come knock on the door.
Okay. Is her husband almost here?
Is he gone? Is she gone?
We want to give you guys all the information all together. Okay. We don't want to have to repeat the information over and over for you guys to continue anything, so.
He said he was on. What did we do to her? They won't say. They won't say. I'm trying to figure it out. Oh my gosh.
Who's in charge of the doctor? We'd like to know what happened.
Absolutely, and as soon as someone frees up who can tell you, I'll send them your way, okay?
Our son's on his way.
Is this your daughter, sir, or your daughter-in-law?
That was my daughter.
This is your daughter, and so her brother's on his way.
121, copy instruction card.
With Kristil's father and brother now at the scene, the weight of what's happened settles over the family, and it grows heavier by the minute. The only person missing is Kristil's husband, Daniel, the man who feared he wouldn't be able to protect her for weeks. Now he's on his way to find out those fears have come true. As they wait for him, detectives arrive at the scene and begin coordinating their next steps to hunt down whoever did this. Little do they know,
I pulled
the
my car
killer
around
they're
the
looking
garage
for is
to see
still
if
in
her
the
car
area,
was in the garage.
much closer than they
And I
think.
immediately saw her at the base of the stairs. Blood smear on the wall. And I came around and booted the front door. It turns out it wasn't locked. There's also a piece of masking tape over the ring camera, almost like somebody approached from the side and taped it.
Okay.
And then maybe she opened the door for somebody. First thing I noticed was an obvious head wound. They noticed after tearing the shirt and everything off, she had a good stab wound right there. So that's what we got. Husband should be here any minute.
Okay, so I need another detective up here to start working with canvassing. I need you to stay here, and Martinez is coming here, so he'll be good with that. I want you and Martinez to work on this. I'm going to give...
Martinez was working on the stalking before.
Yeah, that guy's the thing.
Well, we got to be careful. We have to be careful. We don't know. Anybody that's here is still suspect, so we need to be sure that we stay focused on that.
Investigators discuss plans to interview Kristil's family and her husband, Daniel. He arrives on scene, cutting the conversation short. And right away, he makes it clear to everyone that he's nothing more than a devastated victim overwhelmed by what's happened to his wife.
Family's over here. Family's over here.
Don't worry. That was Trish's harassment.
Can you please? I know there's a lot of questions right now. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of answers for you. But I know what you want to do right now. That you can have another.
Together, so we can make sure I know
He's
What could you have said? Someone leave me over there?
At this time, officers have no reason to suspect Daniel of anything, so they treat him with care as he goes through this traumatic moment. But beneath that devastation lies a cold, heartless man. Because Daniel knows exactly what happened inside that garage. And Daniel is the killer himself. Every tear and shaking breath is part of his act. One he will continue selling to police and Kristil's family standing just a few feet away.
I didn't protect her. I was the person who protect her.
Let them know about they're not going to talk to her. They're not going to say, nobody says anything. We're just going to tell her that you're not going to tell her. We don't tell. This is a family matter. We're just going to figure out a reunification.
I didn't protect
We'll take care of it. Just make sure that transportation.
As this tragedy unfolds, Kristil's mother embraces Daniel, trying to comfort him, having no idea the man she's holding is the one who murdered her daughter. Unfortunately for officers, the hardest part of the job still isn't over. As the family grieves outside the home, a detective is sent to the school to pick up Kristil's children, who still have no idea what happened to their mother. When the detective finds Kristil's eldest daughter, she's already shaken. She's been watching the live camera feed on her phone and saw enough to know something terrible happened. But what she tells the detective next is what truly alarms her. Her mother's stalker has been hinting at something far darker recently, and he might have deadly plans for the rest of the family.
There's police at my house, and an ambulance, and there's a stretcher. I couldn't bring myself to see who's on the stretcher, so I call my mom and my dad. My dad picks up, and he's crying.
They're probably about 7 minutes away, okay? I'm not gonna lie, something happened, okay? That's why you're here, okay?
You know what's going on?
I do, but I can't. I'm not gonna tell you, okay? Because we're still actively investigating what's going on out there. So I don't want to give you wrong information. That's the last thing I want to do, okay? What has been going on at home?
So this dude has been threatening my mom, stalking her, taking photos of my dad, saying that he's going to kill him.
Who, do we know who this person is?
One of her ex, I don't know his name.
Like an ex-boyfriend or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they broke up a while ago. They ended it as friends. So this has all come to a really big shock to her. And then, so he's been contacting her through different numbers, sending pictures of my dad, saying he's gonna kill them. He hasn't mentioned anything about me and my siblings yet, which is good. He's like, he posted something to a website, trying to recruit guys to like help him with whatever plan he's doing. And then he's like,
how did you guys learn about that?
He's been contacting my mom through all of this. So my mom has contacted the police, and she has like a whole bunch of people on the case. But the thing is, he's making it sound like she's helping him, and she's not. And so,
helping him like try to kill your dad?
Yeah. And so like we're afraid that the police are gonna turn on us.
Okay.
And so she's been trying to protect herself.
What Kristil's daughter reveals isn't just alarming, it's sickening. Because this so-called stalker isn't just threatening the family, he's twisting the narrative inside their home. He's making it look like Kristil was secretly working with him to kill Daniel, manipulating the kids into believing their own mother is dangerous while positioning Daniel as the helpless target who needs protection. To the kids, their mother starts to look untrustworthy. To detectives, Daniel starts to look like a victim. And to the stalker, everything is going exactly according to plan. It's a disturbing, genius level of premeditation carried out by a man willing to use anyone, even his own children. The detective logs this information and coordinates with Kristil's sister-in-law, Kate, to get the children safely out of the school. Back at the crime scene, detectives continue their work. They canvass the neighborhood, speak with neighbors, and begin collecting every CCTV clip they can find to reconstruct the killer's movements. By this point, there's enough evidence tying Kristil's ex-boyfriend, Anthony, to months of harassment, allowing police to obtain a nationwide arrest warrant for stalking. Departments across the country are notified to be on the lookout for him. Additionally, with a homicide on their hands and a killer on the loose, investigators can escalate the case and issue exigent circumstance warrants to service providers to finally speed up the digital data they've been waiting on. If Martinez received those files weeks earlier, things might have been very different. Daniel along with the rest of the family is taken to the police station for formal interviews. At this stage, it's standard procedure and investigators are simply looking to collect statements. But about 2 hours later, when detectives finally sit down with Daniel, his routine interview will begin to take a very different turn.
Home security system. You access that through your personal phone? Google Nest. Google Nest. Okay.
Hi. This fixing me.
Okay.
Just push home.
Home. Okay. Do I have your permission to operate this phone and get what we need?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many different cameras do you have?
4. Doorbell. Side of the house, driveway, back door.
How long have you had it?
Doorbell, a couple years. The others, all since September. We had an intruder. I called the police. He came when we had a garage intruder.
A month after Daniel reported the garage intruder back in September is when the stalking first began. And by then, the couple had already installed multiple cameras around the house, plus their Ring doorbell. But even with all that security and after police confirmed they had no GPS trackers on their cars, the stalker still found a way to follow them, sending Kristil a photo of Daniel walking into work and texting her about seeing her at the dentist. So, as the detective scrolls through the surveillance footage to understand the timeline, he notices something strange that catches Daniel off guard.
24/7.
Okay.
They don't turn off. If you lose internet or in the app, you can turn them off.
And who has the ability to turn off? the cameras? Who has the ability to go in the app and turn things off?
Kristil, me, and God,
It's alright. It's alright, Dan.
home shows all four.
Oh,
And
perfect.
home. I can settings.
Okay.
Oh, just us.
Just us. Okay.
The detective's question here isn't by chance. It's prompted by something peculiar he noticed on the surveillance app. All of the home's cameras shut off at 8:15 a.m., and they stay off until 10:15 a.m. Only the camera pointed outside the garage remains active during that entire 2-hour window. This instantly narrows the murder time frame to those 2 hours. Just then, Martinez finally arrives at the interview room. He's the lead detective who's been handling Kristil's stalking case for months. And now that case has become something far worse. He sits down with her devastated husband, feeling the weight of the loss they both couldn't prevent. They didn't save Kristil. They couldn't protect her. And now they're here mourning her loss, trying to piece together what happened.
It's not your fault. I'm sorry I didn't answer. I actually wasn't in today.
As Daniel breaks down, something catches Martinez's attention. Daniel is crying, but there are no tears. The detective finds it strange and more than a little concerning. Wanting to probe deeper, Martinez asks for a moment alone with Daniel to see what's really going on beneath the surface. And the moment he starts asking questions, things get heated
Don't think that
fast.
there was somebody else. She's... Okay. Why do you keep asking? I'm just trying to put everything together to kind of get a bigger picture, because you said that she's been acting kind of weird lately and, being very secretive and withholding of information for you. So I'm just trying to understand, I guess, so we can backtrack what she's been doing this past month.
Martinez's question here is telling of what he's thinking. He's not ruling out Daniel as a possible suspect. After all, the couple were going through a separation period, and this is meant to probe whether jealousy or something else could have played a role in Kristil's death. Sensing the tension in Daniel's response, the detective decides not to press any further. But as they step out for a quick break, Daniel says something that makes it obvious he struck a nerve.
I get it.
After detectives collect the initial information from Daniel, his children finally arrive at the police department. They still don't know what happened to their mother, only that something is very, very wrong. Their arrival and given a choice. Should he be the one to tell them or leave it to officers and Kristil's family? Instead of letting someone else deliver the news, Daniel insists on telling them himself. A decision that appears compassionate on the surface, but underneath it's a way for him to control the narrative and shape how his children see him, even in a moment of tragedy. Following this, investigators sit down with Kristil's family to begin their interviews. And this is where things start to take a concerning turn. Up until now, the case seems straightforward. Kristil has a stalker, her ex-boyfriend Anthony. That stalker killed her. Find Anthony and you find Kristil's killer. But once detectives start speaking to Kristil's parents, brother, and sister-in-law, things become far more complicated. And what they learn next will force them to reconsider everything they think they know about Kristil, her marriage, and even her
It's the
stalker.
ex-husband who's been kind of...
It's not about my husband, it's an ex-boyfriend from when she was 18 years old.
Okay, gotcha. Can you think of any, recent, has he reached out to you? Have you seen any...
No, he's never contacted me. I know yesterday she told me that he had messaged her again 2 days ago or so. Let her know that he was ready to come back, and so she can go ahead and off her husband now. make it look a little like she was in on this whole deal with killing her husband, I guess.
Do you think there's anything doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right, something that, I don't know, you just feel like might be important to our investigation?
I don't know, like, I know that Kristil was, like, very concerned and worried about this guy, and I just always felt like it was, like, there was something weird about it, like, but I can't put my finger on it. It just, I feel like she had said that it was, like, this Anthony guy, that it seemed very different than past behavior in him, like that he was never sexual in the past, and that these were, like, very, like, hypersexual things. And so I think even at one point she was like questioning whether it was actually him.
I don't know if you necessarily know anything more about that, but they just also just kind of mentioned you guys are kind of close, and just see if there be some sort of insight on that at all.
Insight on their marriage?
Or just, was there issues going on? Were they having problems? Was there, kind of anything that was kind of...
She had shared with me that they had separated.
Okay.
But we're still living together a year ago. And I had asked her if she, over text, if she believed that it was Anthony. But she didn't believe, at the time that I was asking her, that there was anybody but Anthony. She was fully convinced that it was Anthony.
Okay.
My mom has always been, like, suspicious, and I just, like, don't know where that comes from.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on that? Like, suspicious how, or...
My mom?
Yeah.
Suspicious. I don't know, because she... It's like the difficulty finding Anthony. Like, why is it so hard to find Anthony? Why can't there, cell phone records or IP stuff? So my mom had that frustration, and so I think her mind starts to wander towards, like, conspiracy type things, right? Of like, oh, maybe it's the husband, or maybe it's Dan, and I don't know. I don't see it there just because, I don't know. Dan just seems so incapable of doing something like that to me.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, I talked to him, and him and I just hung out and talked for like 2 hours. And he was, like, very concerned about, like, getting his family together and talking about being vigilant but not paranoid.
Even though Kristil's brother Lars sounds skeptical of his mother's suspicions, she isn't exactly wrong, as on the surface it makes no sense that Anthony couldn't be tracked down for months. Lars would also go on to explain that Kristil and Daniel saw their marriage very differently. Kristil wanted out, Daniel didn't. And the family seemed to view their relationship as dysfunctional but not violent. But listening to these statements, one thing becomes very clear. Every family member felt that something about the stalker was off. There was a shared intuition they couldn't quite articulate. And when detectives sit down with Kristil's mother, she makes that suspicion very clear.
She was married, had 3 children.
Her life was hell when she was lonesome last year. Her husband and her were not in good terms. He was in complete denial. She'd tell me how he was.
Did she ever give you insight on what kind of led her to feel like her marriage was over, or?
Dad is explosive, but I've never seen him, hurt her. He would hurt the kids, but, some people think the corporal punishment is paying the kids. But he would hurt the kids. She was worried about that, but I don't want to say it's a man. But she told me he was in denial, that she told him his marriage was over, but she would stay until graduated. I have this, just a gut I can't shake him.
What's that feeling telling you?
I can't shake this question. Is he the one that's been doing this with Anthony?
Needless to say, hinting that Daniel might somehow be involved with the stalker is an alarming accusation, and it makes things even more complicated for the detectives. At this point, the family itself is split. Kristil's brother, Lars, completely dismisses the idea that Daniel could be involved, calling it nothing more than a conspiracy. But others felt that there was something off about Anthony and the entire stalking agenda. With all statements collected, detectives wrap the family interviews and regroup to make sense of everything they've gathered. By combining everything they've learned, detectives land on a clearer picture of where the investigation now stands. The family interviews raised enough concern, and there was enough tension in the marriage that detectives decide they can't rule out Daniel yet, and he officially becomes a potential suspect. But even with Daniel now on the radar, Anthony remains the obvious prime suspect in Kristil's homicide. His threats and weeks-long stalking campaign still place him at the center of the investigation. With that in mind, detectives know their next move. It's time to find Anthony. At around 3 p.m. that afternoon, police finally get their first real break in months. After digging through everything they have on Anthony Holland, investigators land on a possible address in Utah. Because they can't reach him themselves, Broomfield detectives coordinate with Utah County Sheriff's Office, sharing his name, photo, and the address where he's believed to be staying. Up until now, Anthony has only existed as a name in emails and threats, a distant figure who no one has actually seen. So when officers finally get a hit on his location,
I'm going to ask you a couple of names to see if you recognize any names. Have you ever heard of the name Kristil Krug? She may have been Grimsrod when you knew her.
Yeah.
And do you know a Daniel Krug?
No.
No? How do you know Kristil?
She was an ex-girlfriend.
She's an ex-girlfriend? How long's the ex? Like how long ago?
1999.
Oh, so like a long while ago.
She was my very first girlfriend ever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When was the last time you talked to Kristil? Has it been a minute?
It's been a minute, yeah.
Like since you moved from Durango?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been what, back in 2014?
Yeah.
Have you had any contact with anybody in that area since? Anybody, or have they contacted you at any time?
No.
I'm going to give you a phone number, and it's to a sergeant with the Broomfield Police Department.
Okay.
He would like you to reach out and talk to him.
All right.
They have an incident. I don't know the full details of their incident out there, and so I'll let him talk to you about that aspect. He had asked us to come out here to your house and talk with you. They were debating on, you do have an active warrant out of Broomfield Police Department, and they were debating on if they were going to have us arrest you or not. They are not going to have us arrest you on it. I'm going to advise you of the fact that you do have a warrant out of Colorado, and you can talk to this sergeant about the details of it, if that makes sense.
As officers speak with Anthony, he appears intoxicated and confused. After being briefed on the situation, he gives his timeline, insisting he never left Utah and spent the morning with family, nowhere near Colorado. Once they collect Anthony's statement, Utah officers leave to begin verifying every part of his story. In the meantime, detectives back in Colorado regroup to reassess the investigation. With Anthony still denying involvement, Detective Martinez turns back to the one angle he hasn't fully explored yet: Kristil's husband, Daniel. Since he never ruled out jealousy or affairs as a possible motive, he decides to dig deeper into Daniel's past. And that's when he stumbles onto something interesting and very unsettling. While searching old reports, Martinez finds a closed but unresolved stalking complaint from years earlier. The victim who filed it is a woman named Carrie. And as it turns out, she was Daniel's ex-girlfriend. The more Martinez reviews, the more disturbing the pattern becomes. The report claims she was stalked for weeks by an obsessed man who impersonated multiple people, manipulating her through fake identities. Detectives quickly locate Carrie and bring her in for an interview. When they sit down with her, they uncover a story so disturbingly similar
I think it
to
was,
Kristil's.
you know,
opens up
like it's a couple months. I broke
up
with him a couple months into my freshman year, he, you know, he was pretty emotional. I would say, sort of desperation would maybe be a word I would use to describe after the breakup of, please don't do this, kind of, you know, crying, that sort of thing, that I can recall. And then I started to get messages from his roommate, and that person's name is Tom, on AOL Instant Messenger. And I know Tom is real because they were roommates. If I called him, Tom would sometimes pick up the phone. They each had a joint room and a joint phone. Tom, his role, I would say, was sort of to gain sympathy from me for Dan and continue to encourage me to communicate with Dan. There was perhaps some indication that he was, or was, because of the breakup, just really not doing well. So this, made me keep communication up with Dan. And Tom ended up being Dan, right? So all these people I'm going to tell you about end up being Dan Krug, not Tom. Yeah, even though Tom is a real person, he was not sending me these messages.
Everything Carrie
Things I remember is a group of my friends from our dorm had met, I don't even know how, some cadets from the Air Force Academy.
Sure.
And so we all went to, I think we went to a movie, something super innocuous, and there was like a group of us. I must have told Dan about that. And I think it was 2 or 3 days later, I got a message from someone named Nick Clark. And Nick basically said, I'm a cadet at the Air Force Academy. I know you went out with these people, and I want you to know that he came back, or these people came back and said that you slept with him. So now there's this rumor going around the whole academy that you're an easy target kind of thing. And Nick, I think, served the purpose of sabotaging anyone I was meeting if they were associated with the Air Force Academy. Of course, the person that I met and went to the movies with was like, I want nothing to do with you, you weirdo. And so shortly, I don't know, a while after that, I started actually more seriously dating Air Force cadet named Mark Hansen. Then, of course, Nick Clark made a reappearance, and I was getting pretty consistent messages from him. And so he said, we need to find out who's doing this. And he got me a meeting with the Office of Special Investigations at the Air Force Academy. I sat with them, and they kind of laid the emails out on the table, and they said, we've had like a forensic psychologist, sort of professional, look at all these emails, and it's Dan, is what they said.
Despite suspicions, there was never enough evidence back then to prove it, as messages originated from public libraries. But the similarities between Carrie's experience and Kristil's are striking. For the first time, detectives begin considering a new possibility. What if Daniel has been orchestrating everything, impersonating Anthony, and engineering the stalking campaign all along? With this new intel, Daniel officially becomes a prime suspect alongside Anthony. Investigators turn to digital evidence for confirmation. They review the full set of surveillance footage from the neighborhood and Daniel's workplace. The timeline is telling. Shortly before 8 a.m., Kristil arrives home after dropping off the kids, parks in the garage, everything seems normal. At 8:15 a.m., all security cameras except the one outside the garage go offline for 2 hours. At 8:25 a.m., the garage camera captures Daniel leaving the house to go to work, around the time medical examiners believe Kristil was killed. By 9 a.m., Daniel is at work, moving normally among co-workers, as if nothing happened at home. Footage from surrounding houses shows no one approaching the property all morning. Everything points to Daniel, making him look increasingly suspicious. With these developments, detectives bring him back in for another interview, expecting routine procedural follow-ups, but they now have far more to question him about. Completely unaware of how much has changed since the last time he sat in this room, Daniel steps in. This is when his months-long, carefully crafted plan begins to unravel. Detective Martinez enters with a completely different energy than before. He's no longer feeling Daniel out, he's here with one objective: confront him with what's been uncovered and see if his version of events finally cracks.
Just kind of about everything. No.
Everything hurts. Feeling I have two different voices going through my head right now. I have my brother Matthew. Yeah, I've mentioned him. He's the sheriff's lieutenant. And I have his voice saying, talk to the police. And in typical cop fashion, you married a prosecutor. So I have Lynn's voice in my head going, get a fucking lawyer. So I just want this to be done. I don't want it. I just don't want it.
Right away, Daniel doesn't open the interview casually. He drops a calculated hint about a lawyer, signaling to Martinez that push too hard, and the interview is over. But Martinez is prepared. Instead of confronting him directly, he pivots the conversation to Daniel's relationship with Kristil, a topic that feels safer and is designed to get him
keep your
talking.
family safe, keep your... As dysfunctional as it is, you still both have the common goal of keeping it safe, right?
I had her as a partner to protect the family, but it didn't feel like a partner who valued me. And I told her at that point, I told her I didn't want to die for someone who didn't care about me anymore.
That's really hard.
I was hurting when I said that. And what I wanted was her to say she cared about me. And she did.
Although Daniel is being honest about his feelings and the state of his marriage, moments like this only heighten suspicions. Resentment, rejection, a failing relationship, these are all motives in the wrong hands. And this is precisely where the interview pivots sharply. What Daniel doesn't realize is that since his last interview, detectives have received critical information they intentionally withheld for this moment. One of the tech companies finally responded to urgent warrants, providing the digital data that could expose him. The emails from the stalker, the messages that terrorized Kristil for weeks, weren't coming from some distant ex-boyfriend at all.
One of the things that
They were coming from
we really
closer to
started
home
looking
than
into
Daniel
today
ever
in
expected.
an effort to find Anthony is the Gmail. So some of that information that we've been able to receive today is a little bit concerning, I guess.
The Gmail account, the Kickman account that you guys initially received with the photo of you in it, and the phone number, those originated through their IP addresses at your office.
Doesn't make any sense. Well, he took the photo of me at my office.
But both of those accounts originated from IP addresses that list back to your office.
There are Wi-Fi access throughout the facility for employees, and there's public Wi-Fi access throughout the entire facility.
Right now, we're working with the director to get all of the IP information to see what devices were using that specific address during that time. Because I guess the biggest concern is just the timing of everything, that it just doesn't quite make sense to have somebody create an account, take a photo, and then immediately send it off, and then the account is no longer being used.
None of this makes any sense.
Daniel looks thrown, unsure how Martinez could know this. His nervousness grows, but he maintains a facade of cooperation. Martinez presses on. They hold back one final piece of evidence, Anthony's alibi. Officers in Utah forwarded a time-stamped shopping receipt placing Anthony in Utah the morning Kristil was killed, miles away from Colorado. Martinez and his partner now have the perfect moment to push Daniel, to see how he reacts when forced to confront the possibility that the entire stalking scheme, the terror, the planning,
Let's
the
add on top of
manipulation,
that the fact
might have
that
been
there's,
orchestrated
as far
by
as
him
we know
all
right
along.
now, there's no physical way that Kickman could have been involved in this based on where he's at right now. So, you know, the mystery continues, and
I'd ask the husband.
Things are certainly pointing in one direction right now.
Well, and you've given us reason. Here's the other thing, Daniel, is I sympathize with the fact that you're in an extremely frustrating situation. I know you want to be a part of your kids' lives, but you can also sense that's why we're asking all these questions about infidelity and everything else. Is there some other mystery man that we don't know about?
I have been faithful. Period.
You know Anthony has reached out to her in the past, number of times.
She's been very open.
Right. The last time was 2016-ish. He had asked her at one point if she wanted to have sex. If there's any bit of question about infidelity, whether it's with Anthony or anybody else, we might create an account to see if Kristil's actually interested in Anthony. So we ask her, push the bounds a little bit, and see if that will confirm our suspicions of infidelity. You don't get the response and the openness you once did for about 28 days, from October 2nd to October 31st, to amp it up a little bit. Send a photo of yourself to her, an account you created.
I get the narrative together, but it alleges that I would do this to my children.
But I think ultimately what happened today would bring you the closest to your children that you've probably ever been in your mind.
I'm very close to my children.
You're afraid to lose time with them if you get the divorce.
Martinez continues, carefully articulating the reality Daniel has been living in denial of. We understand your frustration, your fear of losing your kids. You want to be part of their lives, but that desperation, it can push someone to take extreme measures. If you felt everything slipping away, anything could happen, even things you might regret. Daniel listens, silent, his mind racing. Martinez presses further, connecting the dots. The emails sent from his office, the accounts, the stalking pattern,
what would you say
all
happened?
implicate him.
There has to be someone else
That was able to turn off the cameras, that was able to use your IP address from your work to create accounts, to send messages and photos, to act as a stalking suspect.
I know I'm not the one who does this. I'm analytical at work, and I read and write fiction at home. I don't do crime drama. I don't know what any of this is.
Kickman is 6.5 hour drive. And then in fact he was contacted in his house, severely intoxicated. There's no way he could have made that drive.
All this time you've been looking for him as a protection. And you just found him today, like that.
You've been chasing your own dog.
It sounds like you're accused.
We have a lot of information that points your direction, and we were hoping that you could provide explanation other than it wasn't me.
I don't have a narrative or a story that I can offer you, because I thought we were on the same time.
Well, what would you think, or what would you say if we told you that other people you talk to that are close to your wife expressed that she had maybe told them that she suspected you of having...
She said that right to my face, that she wanted to know if it was me. I told her no.
But I think there's more to the story. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't, it's not adding up. I'd like to know what happened this morning. I'd like to know
Me too.
what caused you to get so upset to hurt your wife, because I believe that's what happened.
Well, I want to know what happened to her.
We haven't been there to know, and there's only one person in this room that can tell us.
I think you got confirmation or found out that she had a boyfriend this morning, or something happened that pissed you off, and you did something that you regret now because you can't go back.
I've answered all your questions that I can. You have your theory. Please find the right one. You're done.
The evidence is too precise, too damning. Finally, the weight of it all breaks him. He asks for an attorney, ending the interview. Even as he insists on his innocence, one admission slips out, a crucial detail no one knew until now. Kristil confronted him about being the stalker. Martinez recognizes the significance immediately. That confrontation could have been the catalyst, the breaking point that led to tragedy. But without the digital proof fully analyzed, detectives know they cannot yet close the loop. The investigation, though sharply focused now, still requires the hard evidence to definitively link Daniel to the crimes. With the interview over, Daniel is processed for physical evidence and escorted out of the police station. Before leaving, he turns back, his final words a mix of defiance and warning.
Because I don't. You don't believe that? Fine. Just don't stop looking elsewhere. Focus on me. Okay? Find the fucker who did this. Are you married? With kids? Divorced? Red line yet? I don't care if you capture him. I just want the fucker to pay. He took my children's mother for Christmas.
Over the next 2 days, the investigation escalates into the department's top priority. Every available officer is deployed, and finally, the pieces begin to fall into place. Officers in Utah verify Anthony's alibi. Surveillance footage confirms he was in Utah at the time of Kristil's murder, with no evidence placing him in Colorado. The last of the digital evidence arrives, and it's damning. The burner phones used to send threatening messages were purchased with a Visa gift card registered to Daniel Krug. Cell tower records show the devices were always in the same location as Daniel's personal phone, proving he carried both at the same time. Further, Daniel's Google searches from the night before the murder reveal chilling curiosity about how hard to hit someone in the head to render them unconscious and when a head injury becomes dangerous. The picture becomes undeniable. There was no Anthony. No mysterious stalker. It was always Daniel. He had crafted an elaborate stalking persona to manipulate and control his failing marriage, and when Kristil began to suspect him, he killed her to cover it up. On December 16th, an arrest warrant is issued for Daniel Krug. Officers locate him on his way to his daughter's dance performance. His movement seems suspicious as he heads back toward his car, prompting a rapid response.
Alright, we're coming up in front. Just get up and bump back. No, fuck. Go, 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 go. Just go. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Show us your hands! Show us your hands! Hands on your face! Hands on your face! Hands on your face! Hands on your face! Under red. There.
Daniel complies without incident, and he is taken into custody. In the weeks that follow, forensic analysis, digital evidence, phone data, and surveillance footage all confirm the same conclusion: Daniel acted alone. He had fabricated the stalker, framed an ex-boyfriend, manipulated his wife, his children, and law enforcement. Before trial, Daniel pleads not guilty. In April 2025, the courtroom proceedings expose the full story.
This was about Dan losing control.
He
was not in love with Kristil, and that resentment had turned to rage by the time we get to December 14th. Think about what he did to her. You don't do that to somebody you love. Think about the absolute nightmare and hell that he made the last few months of her life.
The defense argues there was no physical evidence linking him directly to the crime, attempting to cast doubt on the prosecution's narrative.
And there is an enormous disconnect between that and the circumstantial picture the prosecution wants you to believe. Mr. Krug did not kill his wife. He did not commit these crimes.
After nearly 2 days of deliberation, on April 17,
jury find the
2025, the jury
guilty
reaches
of
its
murder in the
decision,
first degree.
guilty. Daniel Krug is convicted of first-degree murder, stalking, and criminal impersonation. He is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.